All right, good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, February 9th, 2021, and it is 7 p.m. On the West Coast where I'm at, and it is 10 o'clock on the East Coast. So if you're tuning in on the East Coast, I appreciate you staying up late with us tonight. If you're just tuning in, you are a Hitting Vault Coaches member, and I appreciate you being a member, so thank you. And let me know where you're tuning in from. One of my favorite things about hosting these live Q&As is seeing where everybody's tuning in from. And again, I want to make sure to give you a shout out and say hello if you're tuning in across the country. And you get bonus points if you're on the East Coast staying up late on Facebook. Maybe you're in bed sitting there watching YouTube, and now you're watching this. So thank you for tuning in. I am hosting a Q&A tonight, so make sure you get your questions in. Anything about hitting, we're going to answer it. And I want to give you a little sneak peek, just in case you missed out who my guest is. I want to give you a little sneak peek into my guest for tonight's Q&A.
This ball is hit very well into right field, and that will hit off the very top of the fence. Lynch had trouble finding it, but Dallas will score. They're going to try to score. Aldering behind her to throw to the plate, not in time. Riley Sartin gives the Aggies a 2-1 lead. This one in the air to left, hit deep. Ettinger back, it is gone. Riley Sartin, 6-1 Texas A&M. Ball hit very well into left center field by Sartin. It is gone. Second home run of the day for the sophomore, 9-2 Texas A&M.
All right, let's do it. Woo. Spicy. Feels real smooth. Nice and balanced. Oh, that's legit.
All right, if you're just tuning in, you got a little sneak peek of my guest for tonight, Riley Sartin. Riley, thanks for being on tonight and helping us answer some questions.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Hey, and I want to just kind of give you guys, if some of you are not softball people per se, or maybe you lived under a rock and didn't follow the SEC or some softball for a few years, I want to give a little bit of information about my guest tonight. So first of all, Riley, I came across Riley, I think her sophomore year, and did a little video with Josh Donaldson and did really well. And if you watched ESPN, she's famous now for her bat flip against her husband. So make sure you Google Riley Sartin bat flip, and you'll get all kinds of videos about that. But you know, she played in the Women's College World Series, 2017 All-American, 18th overall pick in the pro softball draft. So you've had a great career and a lot of knowledge about hitting. And so, and I know you give a lot of hitting lessons and you've got a lot of hitting stuff, and we'll get into that at some point, but thanks for being on. And so tonight, if you're just tuning in, wake up if you're on the East Coast. West Coasters, hopefully you just got done with your dinner, but get your questions in. We're going to answer anything we can think about for hitting tonight. So get your questions in. And let us know where you're tuning in from. I see someone's tuning in from Central Illinois, so at least they're in the same time zone as you, Riley. So let us know where you're tuning in from. And Riley, I got a question for you. In your SEC days, tell me from both. Give me a two-part answer: college and pro. Who is the one or two pitchers that you faced that when you got into the box? And I know you're confident and you had a great career, but who are pitchers that you're like, oh man, I really don't want to face these pitchers? Give me a couple names of people that strike a little bit of fear in your heart.
Okay, so in college, there's more than a couple. I would say Alexis Osorio. She played at Alabama. Disgusting backdoor curve, disgusting rise ball. I'm pretty sure she struck me out 4 times in one game at the SEC tournament, and it was probably one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. National television. It was great. Like Kelly Barnhill from University of Florida, also another good one. Obviously, throws absolute gas, and her rise is disgusting. But hands down, in pro ball, I got a chance to face her a couple of times, and I played with her this past summer, Monica Abbott. She is whole new animal. Okay?
I feel like somehow she keeps getting better and better.
I don't know how.
I don't know how.
It comes, you blink, it's past you. You might as well just swing with your eyes closed. She hit me the first time I faced her, my first pro year, my rookie year. And I went to like 3 different doctors because I was like, my hand is broken. Y'all are lying. I don't believe it.
She throws some serious gas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
when I was coaching at the University of South Carolina, we went and played at Florida. We got to face Barnhill and Ocasio, and I studied so much film. We planned it all out. We're not going to swing at the rise ball. We got swept that weekend, and I think we had 34 strikeouts in the 3 games. And I remember on the bus ride home or wherever we were, I just remember thinking, like, I did everything possible to help us prepare for this, and we looked silly. That's just
Mhm.
how good some of these pitchers are at that level, especially the ones you're naming. And again, watching Monica throwing the high 70s from 43 feet is just silly. So, wow, yeah, that's pretty cool. So tell us, I'm curious a little bit. Going from college to the pros and facing Monica, from a hitting standpoint, any adjustments that you had to make making that transition? Anything that you said, okay, hey, you know what, this played well, but now I got to kind of clean this up? Anything in your career?
For sure. So my senior year of college, I ended up tearing my meniscus, and without knowing it, my swing slowly started to change, and I was putting a ton of weight in my back foot, my back leg, and I was just underneath literally everything. And it wasn't even stuff that was moving up. It was, fastballs, through balls. I was just under everything. And so my biggest adjustment my first year of pro ball was just flattening myself out and making sure that I was able to get the pitches that were, plated, that I can hit hard and I wasn't missing underneath and, popping up and striking out and stuff like that. And then going into my second year, which was this past summer, during quarantine, my husband, my brother, and I did a lot of work with this like foam, like squishy ball that moved like crazy. And if y'all haven't seen videos of my little brother, he's 15 now, but he can throw some nasty stuff underhand. And if you want to hit this tiny little squishy ball, you have to kind of shorten up and get a little bit quicker. So I just decided that I was going to be kind of more of like a gap to gap, put some pressure on the defense kind of hitter. And it really worked in my favor this past season, especially.
That's really cool. That makes a lot of sense. That's having good feel for what you needed to work on. So, the next question for us is someone says, when hitting in the cage, how much time do you spend working on your weaknesses versus working on your strengths? Good question right there. What do you think?
I would say I probably start working with my strengths. I'll do some feel good rounds just to get my confidence up, and then I'll work on the things that I'm not really good at. So typically for me, pitches higher in the zone, I struggle with just a little bit, recognition, and then also just, getting a barrel there. So I'll have, either my dad or my husband, whoever it is in there with me, just like, hit the top of the zone as many times as they can. And so I would say probably, 30% strengths and then 70% weaknesses.
That makes sense. I would say, for everybody it's different. I think uh, if I'm listening in on you saying that, I don't go in the cages and only work on my weaknesses. It's not just focusing on what I'm not good at and not focusing on and focusing what I am good at. So here's an interesting question we've got from somebody who says they're talking about their. I'll kind of read this one because it's a long one. She's a natural right-handed hitter that switched to the left side. So this is a slapping question, so we'll tag team this one a little bit. Switched to the left side to slap. He goes, we've had some great results with her swing, mostly focusing on her load and creating separation during her stride and getting to a good launch position. I am very happy with the progress on her full swing, but is seeming to have a negative impact on her slapping, specifically opening up too early and not hitting the ball to the 5-6 hole. How do you manage balancing adjustments to a hitter's swing while still keeping her slapping skills on point? So here's what I will say. I coached in the SEC baseball and I've worked with some pro players, a lot of them, and some of them are switch hitters as well. Whenever you have a switch hitter or a slapper or someone who swings away a lot, you kind of have to double up that workload. Like you can't do half the swings on slapping and half. You've got to kind of double your load up a little bit. So for hitters, I know you're talking a little bit about your hitters kind of opening up early because they're doing something different when they're slapping versus they're swinging. My best advice for that really is just to make sure you're practicing both equally. And it's because of that, we got to do extra work. So if someone's getting 20 reps at something, they got to get 20 reps at both. And I know sometimes that can be hard in practice settings, but you got to put in the extra work for that. So Riley, in your experience, any advice that you've seen from teammates or people that slap and swing away, anything you've noticed that they might work on in the cages, in their routine or anything different?
For sure. I think it starts with your mentality. Like my mentality going into like a sneaky bunt, I was a righty. I slapped when I was younger, but it didn't really pan out. I'm not fast. So that wasn't a thing for me. But like when I go into the cage to sneaky bunt, like my mentality is 100% different than when I go into the cage looking to hit, fly balls over the fence. So just making sure that that mentality it's a mentality shift. Like your purpose is different. I think that'll help her with her mechanical things. I think a lot of the time your approach, the way you, not just like a general, hitting approach, but like your actual approach to hitting a certain pitch or, practicing something different can make a huge difference.
Totally, that's a good point. Hey, and again, just wanted to give a shout out to everybody who's tuning in from all over the country. It's cool seeing Tony's in Minnesota, Virginia. We've got someone in Tennessee, Ohio, Santa Rosa, which is about an hour north of me, Mississippi, Wisconsin, Long Island. We're covering all the states tonight. So if you're just tuning in, this is the Hitting Vault Coaches Members Only Q&A. And I've got a special guest, Riley Sartin, who is this absolute stud hitter and All-American pro player. You name the accolades. And if you missed the beginning of this, make sure you go back and watch some of her highlights that we did at the very beginning. But she's helping me answer questions for you guys tonight. So get any questions you can into it. Next question comes from someone who says, what are the best drills for heavy front foot on stride when hitting? And Riley, I'll let you jump on this one too. But for me, a lot of that has to do with tempo. If I have a hitter who's really fast in their load and stride, they land with a really heavy foot because they're so fast they can't really control it. So if I have a young kid, and I notice that a lot, my first go-to is just to slow their tempo down a little bit and get them a little bit more controlled. It could be something in their load or in their stride to see if I can get them to land a little softer and under control. Riley, anything you've got? Have you ever come across that problem where a hitter, lands really heavy-footed on the front side and they can't control it? Any tips for that?
For sure. So some of my favorite stuff to do when I feel like a hitter really isn't understanding the way that a weight shift works is I like to just take the stride completely out of it. And that kind of seems counterintuitive, but I'll go wide stance, no stride off the tee, off of front toss, and off of live pitching, if you can do that, or machines or whatever you have, and just have them get a feel for what their weight shift is supposed to feel like how they actually transfer that weight from the back leg into the front leg and into the ball. And once they get a better idea of how to do that, I feel like the stride kind of takes care of itself in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Totally agree. It's just funny how different it is for every person. You just got to find out for them what is the root cause of what it is that they're actually doing there. So let's see here. This is a good one. I'll tell you what, I come across this in softball a lot more than baseball. The question is how to fix early hip extension. And if you're watching right now and you ask that question, if I answer this wrong, make sure you follow up. But for me, what I think you're talking about, and again, I see this with a lot of girls, is that when they land and they start to firm up their front side, they stand up and they kind of do this. I call it like stand up, firm up, and they hip extend really early. They kind of lock out really early. For me, one of the ways that I fix that is I just really focus on getting them to a bent front knee when they land, because sometimes we have hitters that literally land with their front knee locked out and then they're kind of stuck there and it causes them some problems. So I hope that's what you're talking about there. If not, let me know and we'll revisit it. But to me, I spend a lot of time with PVC pipes or with hitters, just getting the feel, turning their body with that knee still being soft and bent and trying not to firm up too early. And so that's what I think your answer is there, and I hope that helps a little bit. Riley, you ever come across hitters or yourself where you land and you notice it right away, like they start firming up that front knee and then all of a sudden, their hip extending? Any thoughts or tips on that at all?
Yeah, and I've hit like that before in my life in high school, and then at some points in college, that was a weakness that I had to work on. And what I did was I tried to go to like a very Mookie Betts style of hitting, so very soft in his front knee, bent but still firm enough to actually, be able to sit back on off speeds and stuff like that. But I like to show my hitters different pictures and different visual cues that'll kind of help them. So like looking at guys, there's more film on guys in the MLB than there is on, college and pro softball. So I look to the guys in the MLB and say like, hey, this is more of what you want to look like. This is how rotation really works. And then I always like to equate it to kind of like their throwing. I feel like a lot of rotational movements, whether it's, Tom Brady throwing a football or someone hitting in the MLB, any kind of rotational movement has some similarities. And so I like to, talk about what they feel like and what they look like when they're throwing, and try to create more of that lower half feel of them throwing when they're hitting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. You can see. I know I've watched video and played against you. Obviously, when you play in third base, you can see like getting to that good like launch position and hitting, and how your lower half works. And like if you were to watch video of you throwing from third base, when you land a throw, you get that firm front knee, but it's still soft enough and bent and to make a good throw and rotate. So yeah, there's just so many similarities to that, especially for someone like again who plays third base or makes these long throws. Getting to those good positions, it's a lot like hitting. That's definitely the truth. This question is best drills to address proper hip hinge at launch position. We have several hitters who start hinged, but at launch tend to lose hip hinge, causing front shoulder to work out instead of up and then in out. Riley, maybe you understand it a little bit better than me. I'm going to kind of put it up there again, but what I'm hearing you say is that they start in a good hip hinge, but when they get to launch position, they've lost it. Maybe they're pulling out. So for me, that could be something to do with their balance in their foot. For me, what I like to do is I take a lot of hitters and we just work on literally the most boring drill in the world, the stride drill, and work on striding and maintaining that. Sometimes I'll do it with a PVC pipe across their shoulders or a bat, and just really focusing on load, stride, freeze, checking themselves, and then hitting off the tee. So, it really depends. Again, this is something that is very dependent on trying to figure out what the root of the problem is. Like, why are they coming out of that? Is it something that's being taught? You said several hitters are doing that. So that to me is kind of interesting that they start hinged. They start in a pretty good position. And then at launch, they tend to lose hip hinge, causing front shoulder work out instead of up and then out. So to me, it could be something that as they're striding again, they're starting to get ready to turn early. They're starting to get their turn started a little bit early. I would be curious on that. That one's kind of a tough one. Hopefully, I understand exactly what you're saying there. But I'll tell you, Riley. Here's a good question coming in for you. See what your thoughts are here. It says best drills, or for me, it's more about tips or ideas to work on turning on inside pitches, both high and medium height. And again, you said high pitches are tough to hit. I'll tell you that's for everybody. I don't care how good of a hitter you are. High pitches are tough. So, any tips, drills, or ideas on turning on high inside pitches or inside pitches and maintaining a good scap load, and then turning and exploding into a pitch. So, for me, I kind of sum that up for you again. Like, hey, if you say that's a weakness, high pitches or high and inside, and that's pretty much for everybody. What are some drills or tips for you? Like, what is something that you have worked on to try to improve those?
So one of the drills that I do pretty consistently is I just call it the extreme inside pitch. So I'll put a ball on a tee and I'll put it in the river on the inside corner, and I'll put it up in my letters, like the top corner of the strike zone. And I'll on purpose jam myself, and I'll just see if there's any way I can get this ball up and over the fence. And I always think about beating my hands to the ball with my hips, my lower half first, and then beating my hands to the ball with my shoulder too. And just really thinking, visualizing what that body position would look like, and then trying to execute it. So entire body is fully turned, bat still back here, and then trying to put that ball. I don't want to try to hit it on the ground. I want to put this ball, like, just sneak it in over the fence by the left field foul line. That's the goal.
That's awesome. And again, it's like just an extreme constraint drill where you have no choice but to execute on that and do it. And again, I'm the same way. If I have hitters that are out and around or they can't hit the low pitch, again, like putting that tee as low as possible, as close to their knee as possible, and I'll say like, hey, I need you to hit that ball to center field. And it might take a few tries, but when you have that tight of a constraint, your body's going to figure out like how to do that. So yeah, I think that's a great way, kind of just attacking the problem. And for me, I would say just like she's talking about, that just in the river, tight pitch. And then if you feel like you got a feel for it, start giving them some front toss, or kind of try to see if you can attack them there a little bit. So again, if you're just tuning in, we've got about 10 minutes left on the Hitting Vault Coaches Members Only Q&A with my special guest, Riley Sartin. Riley, as these questions are coming in, I got another question here. Talking about approach. So for you, I'm sure it changes by pitcher a little bit, but in general, 0-0 count, it's the first inning or second inning of a game, and you get to the plate. What are you looking for? What are you thinking about? What's your focus? Is it location, speed? What's going on in your head when it comes to approach?
So for me, that's kind of varied over the years. I feel like when I'm at my very best, usually I'll cut the plate in half and I like to look middle away most of the time, either a curve or a fastball, drop ball, something on that side of the plate that I can handle. But if I see something else that I really like and I'm ready for it, I'll pull the trigger.
That's cool. So that's interesting. So you look at middle out. So tell me real quick, what has changed and why has that changed? So what was it kind of what was it before? Why how did you get to that?
So I would say all throughout high school and then even in my early years in college, I was more of a kind of like sit back and wait kind of hitter.
Hmm.
I would take pitches, I would work myself into deep counts, I would foul pitches off, but I almost always found myself with 3 balls, 2 strikes,
Hmm.
and your average goes significantly down once you start getting 2 strikes on you. So it's especially as you start facing more elite pitching. I got into more of like an aggressor mentality and more of like a yes, yes, no. If you throw it over the 17 inches that is the plate, you're going to pay. And that mentality typically has helped me, hit pitches that I want to hit more. And then it's also prepared me, like, say I'm facing Kelly and I'm sitting her screwball at 73 on the inner half. When I'm hunting that pitch, it allows me to also recognize other pitches that I might not have been looking for. And it helps me to stay prepared for those ones too.
Yeah, that's great. And I'll tell you, I remember reading one somewhere that Mookie Betts a couple years ago said he basically tries to avoid all 2 strike counts. Like literally, hit one year that his approach was don't get to 2 strikes because he knows
Yes.
that that's kind of just the numbers are just they're bad there. They're definitely in the advantage of the pitcher. Talk to me a little bit about approach when it comes to sitting pitches or rise change for you. Was it, did you ever say, you know what, I'm sitting changeup on this pitch or this pitcher or a bat? Or did you ever, was it guessing a lot? What was your approach in regards to, again, like let's say you face a pitcher who, they throw a lot of changeups or they throw a lot of rise balls. What was your approach in regards to pitches? How did you do that?
So really, it kind of starts with knowing who you're facing. So, we watched a lot of film in college, but a lot of pitchers are really predictable. That kind of sounds, bad to say,
True.
but they all have certain tendencies. Like so for instance, a lot of my 2 home run games that I had in college, the first at bat I would hit something hard, and then my next at bat I was dead red, sitting 100% changeup, and if
Mm.
they threw it, I was going to hit it, and like 90% of those at bats where I hit 2 home runs in one game, they would throw me a first pitch changeup. And it's kind of like a very predictable. I try to get into the pitcher's head, and I'll only sit pitches. I'll only do that kind of stuff when I'm 100% confident. And if I do it, I am 100% bought in. Like I'm bought into the swing and miss. I'm bought into the looking dumb sitting this pitch. But whatever it is, I'm going to give it my all. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, I still have 2 more strikes to work with.
Yeah, and just some advice to the hitters out there, it's awesome to sit pitches, but if you are going to sit changeup, and it's not a changeup, you can't. I mean, you can swing at that and let it go, but like same. I do the same thing if I tell hitters, hey, I'm going to sit fast, and no matter what, I am not swinging changeup. One of the biggest problems I see a lot of hitters do is they get fooled on that changeup. They stick their bat out, they kind of just fight it off, and now it's a ground ball in the infield, and you're like, oh man, all you have to do is just swing through that thing. I tell our hitters all the time, I would rather you swing and miss and corkscrew into the ground and have 2 more strikes to go than saying, oh crap, and just tapping a ball in the infield. So that's a little tough. Let's see. Next comment says, Riley, you were playing in Florida last summer when social issues really impacted the softball world. We're celebrating Black History Month right now, so would you mind talking about what it was like and how engaged the softball world has become lately, and what it's like being a stakeholder in the game when there's so much economic and social growth happening? So we don't have to get into all the details, but last summer, there were some, we'll say, insensitive stuff said by owners of a team, and didn't really go very well for her. And a lot of people stood up, which was really awesome. You were one of them. And again, we're celebrating Black History Month this month. Tell me a little bit about the softball world and how they embraced it and how it's growing. I think the softball world has done an awesome job personally. But Riley, you were in the thick of it. Tell us a little bit about that and what you think did it die off, or is it still growing?
That's a really good question. So I would say that was probably the first time that anything off the field has really impacted a number of people, because it wasn't about us playing. It was something totally off the field that it took us all off guard. None of us were expecting it. We all came into the locker room after the insensitive things were said, and we were just like, phones were blown up. All of our friends, former USA members, like, hey, did you see this? Are you okay with this? And I was just really proud of the way that we all came together. And I feel like our consensus at the end of the season, once everything was said and done, our consensus is that we want to make the softball community welcoming for everyone. We want to make sure that no matter who you are, where you come from, what color your skin is, like, you have a home in softball. And so what we've been doing, the team we formed after all of the stuff went down, is called This Is Us Softball. And our mission is really just to provide a space for all athletes to come and play the sport of softball and to feel loved and to feel heard and to feel welcomed. And, we're going to continue that mission. A lot of our members are on Team USA, so they'll be out being awesome ambassadors for us this year in the Olympics, hopefully, cross your fingers. And then, we'll see what happens later on. We're an official LLC, so we're in it for the long haul, and we're just excited to see how we can kind of, branch out in the world of softball.
I love it. Yeah, and like I said, it was really fun to just see people stand up, coming together. So if everybody who's tuning in, if you get a chance, make sure you go to thisisussoftball.com and check out what they're doing over there. Awesome work and awesome stuff. And I'll tell you, I've been in the baseball world most of my career, but I have spent many years in softball the last few years. And people have asked me all the time, what do you think about the softball world and stuff, and what do you like most about it? And for me, the answer has been the community of softball people. And generally, again, we learn there's people outside of that sometimes, but for the most part, like, what I really love about softball is the people in it, in the community of people. There's the family of softball people. They always come together in a good way. And so again, check out thisisussoftball.com if you guys get a chance. And if anybody has any questions left, we got time for maybe one or two more questions. So get your questions in. While we're waiting for those last two questions or so, Riley, tell us a little bit about, for you right now, if someone is, I'll tell you what, for Texas is a area that you are in, and most of our vault members, honestly, I think most outside of California is Texas. So if someone lives in Texas and they want to come to your facility or work with you, how would they do that? Where could they come and find you?
Sure. So, I work at a DBAT location. So the best way to, book a lesson or whatever is through our website. And that is just DBAT, DBATFW. It stands for Fort Worth.com. And then you can create an account, look at all of my lesson availability. Everyone is more than welcome to just direct message me if you just have any quick questions, or you want to send me a video of, your daughter hitting whoever it is. And I'll definitely get back to you, answer any questions you guys have.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, Riley, our last question of the night is for you. It says, Riley, did you play multiple sports growing up? Any advice on how to balance year-round travel softball while playing other sports? So, were you a kid did you play any other sports growing up?
So yes and no. I played basketball and volleyball and golf. Golf is like my other love. I love playing
Nice.
golf.
Me too.
Yeah. um, I broke my arm playing basketball in sixth grade, I think. And after that, I was like, you know what? I can't have other sports kind of taking me out of softball. And so I just went down to softball. But I will say this, that was back when softball recruiting happened, when you were like 12, 13 years
Yeah,
old.
true.
And you had to, right? Like, if you wanted to play in college, you couldn't, get injured playing other sports. I think the rules being changed and the ability for girls to kind of get older before they have to make a decision is opening up the doors for everyone to play softball. I think it prevents overuse injuries. I think it makes you more competitive playing other sports, and finding other ways to win makes you a better softball player. So if you play multiple sports, keep doing it. If you don't, I want to challenge you to do something else. Maybe it's just like pick up basketball in your backyard. I don't know. Just do something else that it takes your mind off of softball, because it can get a lot at some points in your life. It can just feel very heavy and feel very overwhelming, especially if it's the only thing you do. So just, branch out, go run, go play tennis, go, do something else.
And my kind of follow up for you is, you kind of went through the whole realm from little league to the pros. For you, if you had someone you're working with that's in that 13, 14, 15-year-old range, softball player who loves the game and they're playing year round, any advice you would give them on rest and when they should do that, or how much, or how should they approach that a little bit? Any tips on avoiding burnout and injuries and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I think you could probably hit, loosely year round. I think that's probably okay. I've struggled with lower back injuries in my career. And so what I do in the off season is, I'll strengthen my right side. I'm a righty hitter. And so my left low back gets really tight and really tense. And so I just try to strengthen my left side, but also my right side. And then I also hit left-handed quite a bit. So like if I'll go in the cage and hit 200 balls right-handed, I'll make sure to hit, 50 to 100 balls left-handed. And it's kind of fun. It kind of, keeps me competitive and keeps things interesting. But as far as everything else, I would say I take a month at least off of throwing, like get that pressure off your rotator cuff.
Yeah.
There's no reason to have labrum issues, UCL issues when you're, 12, 13. Find ways to strengthen your core, find ways to strengthen your shoulders. And those can be done. Like I do yoga all the time. Pilates and yoga they
Nice.
sound girly and boring, but like they're the best ways to strengthen your small muscles and use those all accessory
Totally.
muscles. So yoga.
Well, Riley, I really appreciate you being a guest for us today and answering a lot of great questions. You did a great job. Let me ask you this: for people who are still tuning in, again, this will be up in the hitting vault and it'll be up on the page for a long time. If they want to learn more about you, get to know you, more about, obviously this is softball.com, but what's the best place to learn more about you, what you do, and kind of just learn more about you, and honestly to get you some more followers tonight, where do we go to do that?
So Instagram is my big platform. I have my, personal Instagram where I do softball stuff, but I also show, aspects of my life. And then I have my own personal player development page, and that is kind of sprinkled throughout my personal Instagram. It is Riley Sartin Vaughn on Instagram, and then it is Riley Sartin Player Development for that player development page. And it's everything from, cool drills and stuff like that to, nutrition and workouts and all that kind of stuff. So Instagram is a place to find me for sure.
Okay, so we're gonna check you out on Instagram. Make sure you give her a follow. She's got a large following. She's creeping up on me, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye on you. Make sure you don't pass me. You're getting close. So Riley, again, I really appreciate you being on. So many great. You're a great ambassador for softball, and I've really enjoyed following your career the last few years, and I know I'll try to keep an eye on you as you continue to grow through the sport and share. So thanks again for being a guest. Everyone, go check out Riley Sartin on Instagram. Check out This Is Us Softball.com. Give her a follow. Everybody have a great night. And if you're on the East Coast, get to bed. Have a good night, everybody. See you later.